Welcome to my channel. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Carson Daly is a changed man. Since 2018, the longtime host of The Voice has bravely shared some of his struggles with generalized anxiety disorder GAD in hopes of helping others. After decades of struggling, he now says receiving a diagnosis to explain his ongoing challenges was the best day of my life. On May 16, 2025, Daly opened up about his journey on The Bubba Show on Pittsburgh radio station 100.7 Star Morning. His appearance was part of Odyssey's More Good Days in May initiative to promote mental health resources and awareness. It was really the best day of my life to know that all the sort of crazy thoughts that I had had were explainable, he told hosts Bubba and Melanie Taylor. I thought I was losing my mind or like my brain was broken. I was so happy to learn that it was a normal thing and there was a name to it. Daly, who will host The Voice Season 27 finale on May 20th, first revealed his GAD and mild panic disorder diagnoses on the Today Show in 2018. He admitted at the time that managing panic attacks on live television, from MTV's Tarell to The Voice, had been an ongoing challenge for him. The symptoms of GAD, according to the Mayo Clinic, include excessive, ongoing anxiety and worry that are difficult to control and interfere with day-to-day activities. Panic disorders, meanwhile, cause frequent and unexpected panic attacks, per the National Institute of Mental Health. A panic attack is described as a sudden wave of fear or a sense of losing control that happens even when there is no obvious danger or trigger. For decades, Daly didn't know what was happening to him but told the Taylors, "Really now with this diagnosis, I look back on almost my whole life and realize that I've been kind of suffering from this anxiety disorder, but we never talked about it and so I had no idea. I had no way of articulating it," he continued, noting that growing up, he felt very nervous all the time. Then I started suffering from panic attacks later in my 20s when I was at MTV and I just had no idea what was happening to me, he said, until I went and finally got some help and got this diagnosis. In October 2022, during a Facebook Live with psychologist and mental health advocate Dr. Alfie Breland-Noble, Daly opened up about having a panic attack while hosting The Voice. He described a moment when he was live on air and had to stick his hand inside his pocket as a coping mechanism. "Do you think my right hand's in my pocket just being casual, like I'm on TV and my life is so great," he recalled. "The truth is, in that moment, I was gripping the flesh of my upper right thigh because a wave of panic was coming through me and I was so scared. I wanted to run off the stage because it's one of the symptoms of panic," Daly continued. "I can't control my nervous system. Fight or flight kicks in. The threat is real, but there's nothing there. I have to just ride that wave on live TV." Learning the physiology of his disorders and how to manage them has made all the difference for Daly. During his appearance on The Bubba Show, he said, "Once you accept it and you realize you're not sick or you could still perform at work and you're not a complete outcast, and there are things that other people are dealing with, it actually becomes very easy to sort of manage once you realize what's happening." Carson Daly, the beloved television personality and host of shows like The Voice and TRL, has been a fixture in American pop culture for decades. Known for his charismatic presence and engaging personality, Daly has managed to keep much of his personal life private, particularly when it comes to mental health. However, recently he made an eye-opening revelation about a struggle that had been silently affecting him for much of his adult life: generalized anxiety disorder GAD. In a candid and heartfelt conversation, Daly opened up about the years of emotional turmoil and self-doubt he endured before receiving a diagnosis. His decision to speak out has shed light on a common yet often misunderstood mental health condition and has inspired many to seek help for their own struggles. In this article, we'll explore Carson Daly's journey through anxiety, how it shaped his life, and how he found solace after years of suffering. The silent battle. Carson Daly's rise to fame was meteoric. After taking the reins as the host of Total Request livestheour on MTV in the late 90s, he became a household name, entertaining millions of viewers with his charm and laid-back persona. As his career flourished, so did his fame, and Daly quickly became a staple in the entertainment industry. Despite his professional success, Daly's personal life was far from perfect. Throughout the years, he battled a series of personal demons, with anxiety being the most prominent. However, like many people suffering from mental health conditions, Daly kept his struggles largely to himself, fearing judgment or that it would impact his career. In the public eye, he seemed to have it all together, but behind closed doors, the reality was very different. Daly describes his early experiences with anxiety as overwhelming and often inexplicable. "I didn't really understand what I was feeling," he says. "I thought it was just the pressures of the job, or maybe it was just me being stressed out." But as time went on, it became clear that it was something much deeper. For years, Daly wrestled with feelings of restlessness, irritability, and a constant sense of dread that he couldn't shake. He would often experience periods of extreme nervousness, sweating, and a racing heart. In many ways, it felt as though he was trapped in his own body, unable to control the physical and emotional reactions he was experiencing. "It was a constant state of unease," Daly recalls. "I would be fine one minute and then suddenly, out of nowhere, I'd feel like I was losing control. It was exhausting." Unfortunately, like many people with mental health issues, Daly initially brushed off these symptoms as just normal stress or the result of his high-pressure career. He never considered the possibility that there was a medical reason behind his struggles. A turning point. Seeking help. It wasn't until Daly hit a breaking point that he finally realized he needed help. In his mid-40s, the pressure of juggling a demanding career with family life became overwhelming. The anxiety he had been suppressing for so long began to take a serious toll on his physical and mental well-being. One particular moment stands out in Daly's mind as a turning point. "I remember feeling like I couldn't breathe. My heart was racing and I was having trouble focusing. I was just exhausted mentally and physically," he says. "That was when I knew something wasn't right. I couldn't keep pretending like everything was okay." It was at that moment that Daly sought professional help. He was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder (GAD), a condition that causes persistent and excessive worry about various aspects of life. People with GAD often find themselves preoccupied with worries about work, relationships, and even trivial matters, which can lead to physical symptoms like muscle tension, fatigue, and sleep disturbances. The diagnosis was a relief for Daly, but it was also a difficult pill to swallow. He had spent decades suffering in silence, thinking that his symptoms were just a normal part of life. In many ways, the diagnosis helped him make sense of the years of emotional turmoil, but it also forced him to confront the reality of his mental health struggles. Getting the diagnosis was a huge moment of clarity, Daly explains. "I realized that I wasn't just being weak or fragile. This was a real condition and I wasn't alone in it. But at the same time, it was also a wake-up call. I had to do something about it." The road to recovery. Once Daly received his diagnosis, he began the long and difficult journey toward healing. He started by seeking therapy, working with a mental health professional who could help him better understand his condition and develop coping strategies. He also began taking medication to manage his symptoms. "The therapy was really eye-opening for me," Daly shares. "I learned a lot about the way my brain works and why I was feeling the way I did. It wasn't something I could just think my way out of. It was a real medical condition that required treatment." In addition to therapy and medication, Daly made changes to his lifestyle in order to support his mental health. He prioritized exercise, making time each day for physical activity, which helped to reduce stress and improve his mood. He also worked on improving his sleep hygiene and learning how to relax his mind. "I had to learn how to take care of myself mentally and physically," he says. "I couldn't keep pushing through it or pretending like I was fine. I had to give myself permission to slow down and take care of my needs. One of the most important aspects of Daly's recovery has been the support of his family. Daly is married to his wife, Siri Painter, and together they have 3 children. He credits their love and understanding with helping him through the hardest moments of his journey. My family has been amazing, Daly says. They've been there for me through everything. They've helped me stay grounded and reminded me that I'm not alone in this. It's been a huge part of my recovery.